Sairam and welcome everyone to the pilot episode of Season 1 Chai with Sai. Today we have with us two amazing guests. The Education Coordinator of SSBC Bandar Klang, a super mom and an inspiration to all. Together with her, we have the Bhajan Coordinator with an amazing voice, and she has also completed her doctorate in child health. These two amazing people are also my previous gurus, and they have a big role to play in who I am today. So let us welcome Sister Anjulah and Sister Chandini to our show tonight. Saira, welcome. So how our show is going to go is we are going to go through a few questions, just some filler questions to ease us into the podcast first, and then after that we are going to have a little, just a bit of a serious discussion. Okay, so first let's start with a short game. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys just a word, and you tell me what is the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Right.
So we will go, we have a list of 10 words here. So we will start, the first word Anjulaka, second word is Chandniaka, and then we just go like that. Okay?
Sure.
So let's start. Okay, so center,
My second home.
Swami,
My best friend.
work,
Part of my life.
camp,
Fun.
yes, children,
My heartbeats.
husband,
My strength.
college or university,
My eye opener.
drama,
Ramayana.
Balikas,
My I have no words to explain, but I would think about one. Balvikas is close to my heart.
handphone,
Hassle.
Very nice. So thank you so much for those answers. And now I'd like to go to like a bit longer question.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of us want this one day in our lives, right? If we had one day to ourselves with nothing to do, what would you choose to do?
Sleep.
Sleep. How about you?
Yeah, I think definitely sleep in, but I also like want to just have time to I think relax and at the moment there's a lot of things happening, commitments that
Yes.
you don't get the time to just chill and do nothing, like just read a book. I love to go swimming, but I always have so many things happening that I don't go swimming. So to do things that I wish I could do, but I always use the excuse of no time
Yes.
and not do it. So just those small like wishes lah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
If I had one day as well, I would first definitely sleep
Yeah.
for sure. But I also like to drive with no that I don't have to come back. I can just continue driving for only one day lah.
Okay.
One day with nothing to do, right? So yeah, I would like to drive. And the next question is, if you could travel back in time to change something that can affect your life right now, what would you change?
Travel back in time. Probably I want to travel back 9 years ago, if I can bring my mother back to this world today, because I think she's one of my greatest ever strength, and till today I know she's there, she's watching me, she's guiding me. There is so many ways that she's giving me answers, but the physical presence makes a lot of difference. So if I had like a magic wand, or I had a magic pill that I can cure her, then that's what I would want to do.
Yes, I agree. That's very true. How about you, Ka?
Actually, when you asked me the question, I was really thinking hard. I couldn't think of anything until actually what Anjulah Akka said triggered me as well. Well, I don't know if I can bring her back. I would love to. But I think I really missed that few years when I was not here, when I was overseas doing my studies. I felt I missed out on a lot of important things in my family's life over here.
Yes.
Good things and not so good things as well. So, well, my mom actually always used to tell me that everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
So I think I have come to accept that there is a reason, but I definitely wish I could have been there for that moment, like during the good and the bad times.
Yes,
so being there for those special moments or those not so good moments.
True. For me, well, it's not. It's something that is very, I would say, petty maybe. But for me, as of now, I actually, as you both know, I like cars a lot, right? So, I used to ask Appa I wanted to become a racing driver, but then he told me study first, finish university, then you go do whatever you want. And then when I finished university and I go and check, they require you to start at the age of 7 to 6.
Right.
So the latest is already 13 already. So maybe if there was something I could change, I would go back to 13-year-old me. It's like, Pa, please, I need to enroll now. So maybe that would change my life a lot as of what it is now. Okay, so now let us come back a little closer to home, to center. So I'm sure all of us have been in Balvikas, right? Who was that one guru that you feared the most during classes?
Feared the most?
Yeah, feared the most.
I can tell first.
No problem.
So when I was in group 4, feared the most, but then I think there was initial stage because I think especially then now for the younger ones, I think he's much more easy and friendly.
Yes.
But at our times and all, Anna was a bit stricter.
Correct.
But initially, so it was very scary to talk to Anna and previous to that, I was much younger, so that time your Balvikas schools don't really scold you. But then when you go into teenage years, right, that's when you really need a strong figure as a guru and a guide. So it was a bit daunting. But as you go through the whole Balvikas program and towards the end, you build that friendship with your guru. I think which is really nice, and I can happily say that until today, Anna is a real big Anna for me. So definitely in the beginning I was very scared. I think everybody knows that maybe those days gurus, those days Balvikas children.
Right. For me will be the first youth coordinator of Bandar Klang. He was also teaching us a teen youth program at those days. Nowadays we call it Group 4. It was Brother Balendran. I used to be really, really scared. There was this one moment, right? If I recollect moments back, was one drama that we were acting where we had to take a tea cup and put it on the saucer bag. So take the cup and put it, and that had to be super precise because it was pre-recorded. And you know how those days we used to do recording, right? Not sophisticated like how it is today. To make sure I count that 8 seconds and making sure my position is correct. No, I have to repeat that and repeat that. And that was a man of perfection. That today I feel that little quality that he had, that Anna had, some of us call him Brother B, some of us call him Balendran Anna. And that quality today has really got instilled in me. And if people see me, perfection is something that I really... Some of them say I waste my time, but for me, I say I really contribute my time so that I see the results. So this was one guru or Anna that I was scared of.
Well, for me, it's definitely Mohan Anna because
you got the milder version.
Milder version, oh my god! I can still hear Mohan Anna sometimes. Triylocanan. And I still remember every time camp and everything, when we are late or like when we spend too much time in the cafeteria talking and we're supposed to go for activity, right? Then we see Amor and walking and coming. It's like, Anna coming, go faster. Keep the cup. and then also like during classes, there's 3 of us who usually make a lot of chaos. Me, Sachi and Vignesh. So I always remember Anna say, don't put 3 of these people together. If somehow by some luck we end up with the same group and Anna comes, why these 2-3 people sitting together? Separate, different group. Then you split it all back up. But obviously, as time went by, that was initially when we entered Group 4 in like about Form 3. And as we went to Form 5 and then it started getting a bit better, we started adapting to Anna. Then we'd be like, okay, now we'll try to improve next time for sure. But then, as you can see, like when compared to your time to my time, Anna toned down a bit. Then now Anna toned down even further.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have Anna on our show and ask why next time.
Good idea.
Okay, and then next, in the Balvikas also, we have Jyoti meditation, right? Every time before classes. So, have you, both of you, slept off any time during Jyoti meditation?
Balvika's
Ah,
time.
Balvika's time.
Not really lah.
Not really?
Because I think Jyoti meditation was really introduced into Balvika's more when I was in group 3 and 4.
Okay.
I think, if I remember correctly. And that's usually morning class. I'm a morning person.
Oh,
so
okay.
for me, no lah. No. Yeah.
No, for you, Suga?
For me, I don't think Jyoti meditation put me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I can clearly remember there was one meditation I think I did in group 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that time the guru was Auntie Rajesh. It was not Jyoti meditation. And this was in, I think if I'm not mistaken, in Simpang Lima school. I don't know whether it's the afternoon, like how Chandini mentioned. I'm a morning person. Afternoon I had to have a quick nap, right? And that meditation really dozed me off. Like I felt that after that I was like I had to be called,
Waken up.
Yeah. I can't really remember what meditation it was, but I know it's not Jyoti meditation. It was some meditation that really relaxed me.
Uh-huh.
And I felt so good. Like, you know, I had a nice nap.
Yeah.
Kutti nap.
That was the power nap.
That was one thing I remember. Yeah.
For me, Jyoti meditation, I wish Jyoti meditation would have been a little bit longer, so I got a little bit extra sleep. Yeah, but Jyoti meditation, the times when you do it is nice, but then when the times you are too sleepy, it is also nice. Both of it is nice. So, okay. So now let us go to a story. Coming back to the topic of our discussion today, the greatest devotee. So, as we all know, Narada always chants the name of Lord Narayana. So he goes Narayana, Narayana throughout the whole day, throughout all the time. So there was one time he goes to Lord Vishnu. And then he asks Lord Vishnu, who is your greatest devotee? And obviously he thinks to himself, he is definitely going to be the greatest devotee because he says the Lord's name all the time. But then later Lord Vishnu says, you are not my greatest devotee, but a farmer in India, he is my greatest devotee. And this took Narada by shock. He was shocked, and also I think his ego was a little bit hurt because then after that he asks Lord Vishnu, why? Why is he your greatest devotee and not me? So then Lord Vishnu says, let me show you. So he brings Narada and he goes down to earth, and there he says, okay, let's observe him. So they reach there before the farmer wakes up, and when the farmer wakes up, he wakes up in the morning and he says, Narayana, Narayana. And then he goes to the farm and he starts doing his daily routine and everything, and then he takes a short break for lunch. So during this period, Vishnu lets Narada stay there and Vishnu leaves and says observe him for the whole day. So then we come back to lunch. At lunch, before he eats his food, he says the Lord's name again 2 times and he eats his food and he goes back to work. And after a full tiring day of work, he comes back and before he goes to bed, he says the Lord's name again. So then Narayana was thinking to himself, he only thought about the Lord 3 times a day. Why? So then he goes back confused to Lord Vishnu and he said, the farmer only said your name 3 times a day. But I say it all the time. So why is he your greatest devotee? Again, the question. And then this time Lord Vishnu says, okay, I will explain that to you later. But here, he passes him a jar full of oil to fill to the brim. He gives Narada the jar and he says, take this jar, go around the world 1 time, don't spill even a drop. And then Narayana says, okay, in order to please the Lord, I will do this. And with utmost perfection and care, he walks around the whole world. He takes a trip around the world and he comes back without even a drop spill. And he gives Narayana very proud saying, I did spill a drop also. And then he gives Vishnu and says, I didn't even spill a drop. And then Vishnu looks at it, and after that he looks at Narada and says, okay, throughout your trip, how many times did you think about me? And to that, Narada did not have an answer. He didn't think about the Lord once during the whole trip. And then that is when Lord Vishnu explains. Similar to you, the farmer also is carrying out the job that I gave to him. But even though he's carrying out the job I gave to him, in the little time that he has for himself, he thinks about me. So that is why he is my greatest devotee. So keeping this story in mind, how many times do we think about the Lord in our daily life? Me, honestly, quite lesser than I should. But there's always something that I come back to, because ever since I was young, I was told by Amma, she always says that doesn't matter anything good or bad happens. If something good happens, thank Swami. If something bad happens, also thank Swami for both of it. So that is why I only think of God when something happens in my life. So when life is just going on as usual, well, I don't really think about Swami or God. But so that is how I go. That is how much I think about the Lord lah. So how about you guys, Ka?
Okay, maybe let me try and start off first. Maybe I would put myself similar to the farmer. Like, I don't. When we start the day, right? Of course, we wake up and then we do our pray after our bath. We do prayers before we leave to work. So I think when you talk about consciously think of God, then yes, when I pray, and then when I'm driving to work, I like to listen to bhajans or any song. Then you think of God. But then once your work starts, you get so sucked into it that I'm not like, okay, like when I'm lecturing my students or what, it's not that I'm thinking of Swami, consciously. I'm not. I'll be very honest, I'm not. Right? I don't even, before going to every class, I don't say Narayana, Om Sri Om Sathya Sai Nama. I don't, right? But it's those specific moments in the day which you are kind of conditioned to think of Swami, like when you do your prayers. I think that is a conscious thing. But besides that, I think maybe very similar to you, Trilo, like when something happens, then yes, it does trigger, whether it's good or bad. When something good happens, like, sometimes when you're driving and the car beside you suddenly cuts into your lane and you were not prepared for it, but you just escape, narrowly escape that. Then you're like, oh, thank you, Swami. That kind of moments are definitely there. Or when something goes not so nice in your day, and then you like, Swami, why, help me through this. That kind of things I think are there. But I'll be honest, I don't like think of Swami or, all through the day and constantly I don't. Yeah.
Very true, Ka.
Yeah. I don't know about Akka.
Right. Being the only child, you don't have anyone else to speak to than Swami.
Yes.
So Swami has always been like a person that I would speak to. Like, when you're young, right, you have this fantasy friend and you'll be talking to your fantasy friend. Sometimes I feel I still have this fantasy friend at this age today. After passing 4 decades, I still have fantasy friend. And this fantasy friend is my true friend, my best friend, right? So, in the morning, if I look at myself and I go like, hey, Swami, today you didn't pay attention enough to my under-eye diamonds. Why you didn't do this? So, I mean, if you really listen to how I talk to Swami, it's like, again, a friend. And then when I go and do my prayer, which now, if I compare myself when I was not a mom, and now when I'm a mom, I have like more responsibility. So I tell Swami, you need to really give me a lot of energies to juggle all this. So now I'm sitting down and trying to accumulate energy so that this generator can give energy to the others. So I spend some time there, and I think after that, till I hit the sack, is basically every minute whatever I do is like I will tell Swami, look, this one I'm doing, it's not for me, I'm doing it for the people that you love. All I'm doing is I'm transferring love. When I go and sit with my kids in the morning, when I spend time with them, look, they are yours. I know sometimes I yell, I shout, because I'm Miss Perfectionist, and my kids try to be perfectionist for their amma. And then we'll get into some, and I'll say, sorry, Swami, but I will not probably be saying sorry to them. I'll say, sorry, Swami. And then, I get into work and I'll say, Swami, look, these people all have a family. I get so connected to the people that are in my team, making sure that they do well, they progress well. Swami, making sure that I say the right thing to them. So before I start a one-to-one call, you won't believe, because I wouldn't prepare, because I'm going on a back-to-back call. I just say, Swami, you need to talk and tell them what they need to know. Because I have got like so many people to manage, and I don't want anybody to feel that I have a favoritism on someone. And when you get into a managerial level, that is like people are watching you. Are you showing favoritism to somebody? So I will always tell Swami, look, whatever I'm doing from the day I start my day till I'm filling my day and until I'm ending my day, I want to do it with love. And for me, love is God. right? So please let me just be that love. If I cannot transmit love, let people see silence in me. So that's how I connect myself with God day to day, because for me God and love is no different.
Actually, when you said about the fantasy friend, I actually could relate to that a lot, because back when I was in high school, or when I was a little younger, even until up to university, actually, I did have this fantasy friend. My fantasy friend was a kuti Swami, about this size only, and he will be everywhere on tables. Sometimes when the lecturer is teaching and it's so boring, he'll be on top of the projector screen. So it used to be quite fun. And then when it's very boring, I used to imagine him walking, jumping around over the mouse and all this kind of stuff back in university. But then as I completed university, and as I started going to work and everything, things got. Now only I'm realizing that my fantasy friend is missing, because I'm running around everywhere, because when I go to sleep it's already late, and then I set my alarm, I wake up early, then quickly brush my teeth, everything, and then run to work, and then battling traffic all the way to office, then on the way back then come, then with any little time I have with extra work, and then go exercise and all this kind of thing. So speaking about it, I just realized that my fantasy friend is over there, but it's time to bring him back. My fantasy friend just slowly blurred into the background already of all the noise.
So maybe you want to bring Swami as a fantasy friend.
Yes.
Never go missing.
Yeah, that's a tick up. Okay, so now let's go to another short game. Okay, let's have a bit of fun. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure all of us are in a lot of WhatsApp groups, right? So a quick game is Chandini Akka for Anjulah Akka and Anjulah Akka for Chandini Akka. Guess how many WhatsApp groups, just a rough number, how many WhatsApp groups are each of you in?
Akka. Must be like, I don't know what, 200 or...
I think all the WhatsApp groups in Center, Akka is in the WhatsApp group.
Akka has got a big role in center work. And Akka is, I don't know, guess 200 or 250.
200.
No. Groups, right?
Groups.
Group.
Just a rough number is fine.
itself got how many?
Got 4 groups in Marikas.
Maybe about 50 though.
50.
Yes, Akka, cannot be.
I think so.
50.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I keep creating.
Keep creating, yes.
The problem is we forget to leave
the old groups, yes.
Yeah, correct.
How about Chandini Akka?
She also got several hats and roles that she plays. Maybe in center she may have about 15 or 10 to 15.
A very methodological going section by section.
Then maybe at work, you have a core group, you have a team, you have friends, and then there maybe about 5 to 6 there, so about 25 there. And then family, you have mommy family, daddy family, then your core family. You go on putting all this together. Yeah, maybe 50, 80.
50, 80.
Akka cannot be more than
Okay, now the question of the hour. Do we actually read all the messages in the group?
Oh, good one. So for me, I make sure I read.
You
and I
read,
get
okay.
scolding because I'm always on my phone.
On the phone.
Right? But what I do now is when I'm working, thanks to technology, I have multiple screens, right? So I have my phone, I have my iPad, I've got the external, so many screens, my monitor, all that. So the messages keep coming. I've learned how to do speed reading.
Oh.
Like take out key points and making sure, But there are also some that I know I can't respond as immediate, right? Because now this problem with blue tick.
Yes.
So what I do is, I will keep it. It doesn't seem important because you can pre-read the messages.
Yes.
Thanks to technology again, you can pre-read the messages, so it's not really important. You can keep it. So, but before I sleep, I will make sure I clean up all and I go to sleep. You know why? I'm scared that tomorrow if I don't wake up, I didn't respond to somebody. Then that person will come over my body and say, you didn't answer me. I was waiting for your reply.
Right. Okay, for me, I'll be very honest. I'm in a lot of groups. But I know that, especially to tell you frankly, videos and photos I really like videos. I don't watch, especially in big groups, because honestly, I don't have the time, and I don't feel I like I said earlier, right, when you said the word phone and I said hassle, because I've come to this. I don't know lah, it's age or what. I know I'm not very old. I'm making myself sound like I'm 50 or 60. But I just don't like sitting on the phone.
Yeah.
Like when I have time, I just want to, just space out or, just listen to music or just do something else but not be on the phone.
Yes.
So I don't really look through all the videos and all. But there are groups where I know I have an important role, because there are also groups where we don't have an important role. We are there maybe for courtesy's sake, or we are there out of respect, out of love for somebody, right? But there are groups which are important in the sense that we have a contribution there. So those groups I take seriously, and I'm very similar to Akka in the sense that I will reply messages. I think this is something which, again, Naveen gets sometimes a bit annoyed with me, like, you don't need to reply every message, Chandini, but I do. Like, if someone has messaged me, I may reply a bit late, like Akka say, if you know it's not important or something, like you keep it till the end of the day once you've got a bit of time. But I will reply your message. I'm that kind of a person. I don't know. I'm just like that. I don't see a person's message and not respond if I need to respond. Of course, if there's no need, then I don't lah.
Yeah.
But so to answer your question, I read the messages and I respond to what needs to be responded.
Well,
I don't watch videos in big groups. So people who, sometimes even in family groups, if I can just say, my father will be like, so you watched that video in that, the big family group? I'll be like, acha, I didn't watch. I'll just delete it. Yeah, because I don't have time.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah.
Even for me, what I do is I only reply to like personal. I only read personal messages or messages that in the groups that I am tagged in. So if I am tagged in the message, that yes, it's important, because I also don't sit on my phone all the time.
Yep.
And I usually don't open WhatsApp also. And when I come back to WhatsApp, certain groups will be like 50, 60 messages. And then at the end of the day, I just finished reading through everything at work and all. Then I have to sit and scroll and read through every message. So no, just, they have the ad symbol at the side there. I just click that, just go to the ad one. Okay, so what you need me to do? Okay, I reply to that. Right. Then personal messages, family groups, I also don't reply.
Yeah, but I reply, small family groups I reply.
Small family groups,
very controversial. The big family groups only sometimes are very difficult. Too many people, too many forward. The problem now with WhatsApp is it's so easy to send a message.
Yes.
So people simply like forward and forward and forward messages, that they lose their value, I
Correct.
feel, to
True.
be very honest.
That day, Amma also called me and then while we were just talking, having a normal conversation. So basically then she asked me, did you see the message I sent like 2 weeks back or something? It's like, Ma, I don't even remember the message you sent yesterday. You're asking me 2 weeks back. I don't know.
Amma's message you better read.
No, it's not personal message.
Oh,
the family group.
Right.
Yeah, I said, sorry, Ma, are you serious? Yeah, my messages are you don't read my message. I don't know what message you're reading. All messages I'm not reading, Ma. Sorry, Ma. So yeah, that is family groups and messages. So now we see, like, based on these groups and everything, we have a lot of roles and different hats that we put on in our day-to-day life, right? And also, like, there's also stages of life. We have like a priority shift. Like, I feel like currently I am going through a really big priority shift, like after university and everything. And I'm pretty sure both of you have gone through priority shifts also in your lives. So how do we handle this kind of big priority shift? Because it is a completely different thing that, like, for me currently, I feel like I'm in my first stage of priority shift. Like, I have been studying, so like school and then university. So university was definitely a little different than school, but it was still around the same ballpark. So you know how things work. But then when you go into work and then and I also, another thing that I feel is also like, since like I'm being paid, right, and it's a bit guilty, when you don't. I feel like when I can't deliver, I feel really guilty, because like end of the day, you're taking something for somebody, and you need to provide a service, and if you can't do it right, do it to the best. It's I feel it's not right, and juggling all of that thoughts and all of like because of work, a lot of things you have to do, and the whole the biggest thing that I realized is in university, even though you had a lot of things to do, time is in your control. You control what you want to do, when you want to do. Even if it's assignments you want to do it last minute, you can still do last minute. Class you don't want to go, you can skip, provided you have minimum attendance. But then at work, it's not like that. So yeah, priority shifts. How do we handle that?
This is a very good question. But for me, the bottom line is, what is priority to you, right? What is important to you? What makes an impact in my life is what I will prioritize.
Okay.
And how I can give an impact to the others is what I will prioritize. So impact is my keyword in how I prioritize things. For example, when I wake up in the morning, I know I have to prioritize looking into my children's WhatsApp group first. Why? Because I have to create an impact on their lives so that their school selves are sorted out. Then I have to make sure I take some time to look into my office work because I need to create an impact there. So bringing back the impact is onto the roles that you play. So I play a role as a mother. I play a role as a wife. I play a role as a employer. I play a role as a Greatest Coordinator. So that means I really remember somebody told me this once. Your 5 fingers are the 5 main roles that you can have. Anything more than that, you're going to be really drained out. And I know how it is. When I start playing more than 5 roles, I'm really drained out. And when I'm drained out, I fall ill, I fall sick, and etc., etc., etc. So priority always comes where you really need to know at when and how, for which relationships and roles you're going to prioritize an impact. Right? So when it's weekdays, my priorities are different. Weekends, my priorities are different. Of course, I try to look at this level today. In my position at work, I have to glance through to just see what's going on. So there's no any escalation or no any smoke. Though I've delegated it, but being the head of a meticulous, perfectionist person, I'll try to make sure the thing that is getting delivered. But matter of time, I've really learned to let go and let God take care. Right? But again, is the roles. So we need to decide, right? Sometimes when it comes to center, right? People always ask me, how do you juggle? Because I still have Swami as my priority. So when you have Swami as your priority, you will learn to give the impact in whatever role that you're given. And for me, I don't know whether it's my conditioning since child. It's like, if you pick a responsibility, you better get it done rightly, right? So I will prioritize. So when somebody tells me, can you please help me do this? I will make sure I prioritize that request because I feel like Swami is asking me. And we go asking Swami, give me some ways that I can show you that I'm your best instrument. When we say our prayer, make me your best instrument, make me a flower in your garden. So these are the mechanisms that it comes, the ways that it comes. And then you don't prioritize that and don't do anything, then what's wrong with it? Where will that prayer be impactful, right? So for me, it's always the impact and the role that you play is where you do your priorities. But I'm not saying that I'm all the while perfect. I can be sometimes only having 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep because I prioritize my work, right? I am not that perfect, but I will make it up. Like sometimes I probably didn't even spend time with my kids the whole day, but I will make sure I make it up. Like people like the puasa, right? They will ganti puasa like that. But I think at the end of the day, your people that you're connected to also need to know the roles that you play and making sure that you do keep them as your priority, not neglect them completely.
Yes, true. I agree, Ka. How about you, Ka?
I think very similar. I think when Akka mentioned the 5 fingers and the 5 rules, I think probably the same person shared it with Akka, and I also got the same advice. So I think not overcommitting. And I think the one more thing that I would add to all those different priorities is also yourself. I think that is something which we always forget. We have all these different roles that we play, that sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. And I remember my mom very clearly telling me this, that it's okay to say no at times, right? Sometimes we feel very guilty to say no, or we feel we're doing something wrong. I'm not saying say no all the time. I mean, that's not what she said, right? But sometimes you need to know when. You need to know our limitations, our boundaries, because only when we take care of ourselves, we can actually take care of all the other roles that we are playing in life. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still struggle with it sometimes. it's always a work in progress. And a lot of things that, like Akka said, the roles you play, I think it also changes from time to time. It changes from day to day also. Like depending on what is important and urgent at that particular point of time, whether it's a particular day, sometimes at work, like that particular day you have something really important and urgent, so then maybe that takes a little bit more priority than the other things. And then when the weekend comes, then probably your family takes a little bit more priority. So but it's still a balance, right? I don't think it's not so clear cut lah. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not so clear cut that this is the only things you focus on in life. It constantly changes, and it's how we adapt to it. But I think at the core of everything, take care of yourself. And also this is another thing that Swami himself always says, right? Don't separate everything. Like sometimes we do this also, like SAI work and non-SAI work, right? Like I think Akka shared this earlier very beautifully. Whatever we do in our day, take it as we're doing it for Swami. So then every role, every priority, you will give your best. Right? And don't overburden. Don't try to do more than 5 main roles at a time, because then you're just gonna burn out. And when you burn out, you can't give your best. So I think that's it's a lot of like what Akka said, and just a few additional things.
I think we have all been in the place where like at one point we have somehow overcommitted, and it at that is the time we actually realize because I have also heard someone told me as well, it's okay to say no sometimes. But then at that point of time, this was when I realized it was fresh out of Balvika's. And then that is when started activity coordinator for camps, and slowly taking up roles and everything. So anything anybody asks, because it's not their fault for asking, because they just want to know if you're available. But what I did was anything people can no problem, yes, sure. And then it came to a point where whatever you ask Trilo, he won't say no. And then after a point I realized, oh my god, I need to stop saying no, because after a point, yes, it does get a bit too much. And if we keep walking down that road, we may not be able to definitely provide the quality that we can provide. And it also like impacts us, and we won't be able, like how you said, prioritize ourselves. So
but I think the balance is important.
Yes,
like, we should not use that
important.
as an excuse. That's also something that we should bear in mind. Sometimes we always use that, I got no time, I cannot do anything. Sometimes anything is either we always say yes, or sometimes when people come, we always say no. So I think the balance is that we must be willing to share, willing to give, willing to help, but at the same time take care of yourself.
But just to add, right? I mean, this is something that I've learned, right? In, I don't know, so many years being with a SAI organization, going to work. For me, if you are very sincere in what you're doing, Swami will create the time. Like even like for today, for example, it could be a simple no, because today my day was crazy day. I know I had a crazy week, but I felt that what's that small thing I'm doing for Swami when Swami is spending his whole day taking care of me? What am I doing back for Swami? Every moment, every day, I think something each and every one of us should just ask, what are you doing back for Swami? Swami is taking care of your salary. Swami is taking care of your family. Swami is taking care of your people who you love, your friends, your everything. But what are you doing back for Swami in return? And the small things like this, when you do, right, it's like Swami's emotional bank, right? And I feel that I'm not doing enough to invest in that bank for Swami. And every time when I get an opportunity, I really want to do more. Because if I compare myself from how I used to be when I got out of university, that fiery effect and you want to do all kind of things, right? Then you realize, like today when I'll tell Anna, that I don't have that energy like last time, that I can sit down and I can sit the whole night burning the midnight oil. I could do like last time, if you won't believe, I will come back from work. I was new. I have to learn work stuffs. At the same time, Uncle Nathan will call, and the way he puts it so sweetly on the phone, you don't know how to say, like how you say, I didn't know how to say no. I'll say, okay, uncle, I will try to get it done. Then my mother will look at me and say, you could have said no. But I said, no, Amma, this is an opportunity. I may learn something. And then a span of time, I realized, I went tell that to my daughter today. whatever opportunity you get, whether it's at school or whether it's at center, when somebody asks you something, Swami is giving an opportunity to learn something new and grow. And it doesn't come easily to everyone. So grab it and prioritize and create the impact. So this is what I always tell. So at that time, when the request comes, of course you weigh the impact, and then you create a priority. So never immediately say no lah.
Okay.
Like
Weigh
what
the
Chandini
pros and
said.
cons.
Think. There could be an opportunity for you to learn something, grow. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Kak. And also another question is, Kak, like there's always like in my 20s, right? So I'm in my 20s, and also I feel like the 20s is the time where you get everything together. You set the foundation for the next few years to come. Is when you get focus on your job, and then like maybe look for possible investments and all of this. Build the foundation for the next few years. So this is the time I should be focusing my energy and my priorities all on these things that will help me in the future. So if I don't focus all of my energy and prioritize all of this now, when is all of this going to get done, or how is it going to get done if I don't pay attention to it?
It's a very good question that I feel that, I don't know, sometimes when I hear these questions, maybe sometimes I say, am I grown too old already? Because I didn't do this when I was 20, 22, or probably until I got married, I didn't even think about a lot of things, like I got married, saved some money, yes, we got married, then we didn't have a house when I got married, we still stayed there. Then we had a car, but we didn't have a luxurious car. So for me, I always felt that at every stage of your life, you will still need to build foundations, because your priorities are different, right?
Yes.
Your responsibilities are different, and you must continue to grow. It's not at the age of 20 to 30 you build everything and stick the basement and then you build. No, it's not like that.
Okay.
All right. For me I don't know about the rest, but for me it's about flying. Right. So today you're probably in a different altitude. Tomorrow you're in a different altitude. So for that altitude, what is your comfort that you need? Moving to the next altitude, what's the comfort that you need there? Right. So today, what is comforting you? Right. That one will give you the confidence and the satisfaction to grow. But if you're already trying to grow on a high altitude, you're going to really accelerate like the car, right? Because there's so many things for you to experience. Sometimes we feel when we are out of the university and we started working, that's the fiery feeling.
Yes.
You want to go there, you want to explore there, you're getting some money. Oh my God, from 2 digits to 3 digits, I see 4 digits now in my bank account. Wow, let's invest, let's do this, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to have liquid cash, I want to have cash in this way. All that will come. End of the day, every individual, we need some money to survive.
Yes.
Right? But sometimes you come to a stage, you have money, but you got no time.
Yeah.
Or you probably have no ability at all. Health is impacted. So like how Chandini mentioned earlier, as you're doing that, your self part is very important. Right? So don't get carried away building that foundation too long. Build, then move to the next level. Build, then move to the next level. Build, move to the next level. So you need to, it's a progressive thing. It's not like a 10 years I build the basement strong, then okay, I can build any building until like I'm 70 years old, it won't fall. No. It's a progressive investment. It's a progressive stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So like how they say, when you invest, there's a risk, right?
Yes.
High risk, low risk. Akka is always a conservative, less risk person.
I see. Well, for me, is when they say like high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward, right? I feel like I'm kind of a high risk, high reward kind of person. So you either go big or you don't go in at all. So go big or go home.
Yeah.
But well, yes, when you lose big as well. So yeah, that is something to learn. Like you step by step, take everything a step at a time.
Whether it's step by step or progressive, you see you're progressing. Don't just progress and I progressed, but you must always say I'm progressing.
I see. Okay.
And also remember what is within your means and what comforts you. And that's when desire comes in the word. Swami's teachings comes in place. Sealing on desire, etc., will fall in place, right?
Yeah.
That's when you really put into practice what you learn from Balvikas and what you're probably even preaching the others comes in practice.
Yeah. True. How about you, Ka?
Yeah, I think very similar. The thing is, if I can, maybe I can ask like Trilo, like actually, what is the question? Is it that like we assume that in the 20s is the time we just want to focus on all these other things like career, and so is that the only thing that's important? Is that what you're trying to ask?
Yeah, that's what
right, okay, yeah. So I think like Akka said right, it is important to build the foundation because that's when you have finished your education and you're trying to move one step forward in life. But I also think that is not the be it and end all, right? And I also think that is the most vulnerable years of our life, right? The teenage years are one, and then when you finish your education, because there's suddenly a lot of things that is coming onto you, right? Work. Suddenly money seems to be important. Before this, we don't really bother, but everything's taken care of, right? So these things end up being important. But I think at the same time, this is where I think Balvikas really helps you. It helps the character side of you, right? Because Swami always says, right, end of education is character.
Yes.
So you finish your education, that character is what is going to help you in this 20s, 30s, 40s and till whatever age, right? Because in this whole Balvikas, we have learned how to know what is important. It's not that we tell in Balvikas that materialistic things are not important. Like Akka said, we need it to survive. If not, as beautiful as it may sound, we wish we can just sing bhajans under some tree and life will just go on very beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful vision to have. I don't know if it's possible, it'd be great. But we need to live, we need to eat. I mean, we are at that level at this moment in our spiritual progress or our worldly progress at least. So we need little bit to survive, but at the same time we shouldn't over focus on that. So again, I think for me everything comes back to balance. I think balance is extremely important. We should not neglect it completely as well. It's important keeping that in mind so that you can build yourself. It's good to have goals in life. Okay, in the 20s I want to achieve this. It's good to have goals and then work towards that. But don't be so crazy or so
indulged.
Indulged or like dragged, sucked into that goal that you forget the other things that also matter, like family. Sometimes in the 20s we are so driven by our career and progressing in terms of money, financially and all, that we forget family. Suddenly family is not so important. Even friends. True. We don't have time to go out with our friends. These things are also important. Or even, activities in center. Those things are also important. It builds our character, it builds our confidence. And that helps us in the end, in our work, in our studies or whatever it may be, right? So the balance, I think that's what for me, that's what comes to my mind.
Yeah. True. When you said earlier, when you said family, right, is when I realized, because at a point of time I didn't have time. At a point of time I didn't have time. Yes, so I didn't have time to actually come back home. And like how they say, like life is a rat race, right? So I was actually. That is when I realized that I was stuck in a rat race going round and round and round. So there was one day that I woke up, like how they say you wake up at the wrong side of the bed. I woke up and everything was just wrong. Something was not right. Something felt out of place. And but it felt out of place, but everything was normal. And there's some feeling inside, like it just felt a little hollow or like something was missing. And then it didn't really strike my mind what it was. And then I was trying to figure it out what it was on the way to work. I think couldn't put my finger on it. Then I was like, it's fine, just continue, go to office, start doing work, everything. And then halfway through working, I see my phone ring and it's Amma. Then I pick up and then Amma is like, hello, you forgot to call me today. I was like, Oh yeah, I forgot to call you today. Yes, and I forgot to call her the day before as well. So, and after that, then I went out of office for her, and then I spoke to Amma and everything, and then I came back. And then when I came back, that is when I realized that everything was back to normal already. That empty feeling and all, it wasn't there. So, yes, we tend to lose focus on some things that are important, like going full force towards everything that we want to have, right? We forget to appreciate what we already have also.
True.
Yeah. So
That's where comes back the 5 fingers.
the 5 fingers.
Right? So nowadays, not nowadays, every morning when I wake up, of course we learn this in Balvikas to see all the Shaktis in your fingers, your palm. But at the same time, I will look at my responsibilities that I have and telling Swami that, these roles that I play, these 5 roles that I play, make sure I play it the best. And make sure the Shakti gives me all what I need, right?
Yeah.
From the knowledge to the energy point to fulfill my roles. So I added a little bit from Balvikas. Extension from the palm to the fingers. So when you do that, Triylocanan, you will realize that some roles you cannot forget.
Yes.
Because it's an instant thing that you constantly, even how far you are, you will remember that this role you must play.
Yes, Kak. True. But okay, so now we have spoke about roles and like family and all these kind of things, right? So how does spirituality fit in all of this? Because like when we are focusing on all of these worldly things, right, like work and building wealth and all of this kind of stuff, and then we have to focus on family, friends, and all of this. And there's also the phrase that some I'm sure we have heard, I don't have time for spirituality. So this phrase, what do you think about the phrase when they say I don't have time for spirituality? Because I feel sometimes I can somewhat relate to it as well when I say like I don't have time for spirituality, but on another level, like keeping in mind what I've gone through from Balvikas and everything, I know that it's not right to say that. You should even if you don't have time, you make time, like move your priorities around and all that. But then there is also a part of me that says maybe it is not the time now, or it is not very urgent currently. So what do you think about that, Kak?
Maybe if I can try for a second. Maybe our understanding of the concept spirituality is unclear.
Okay.
Right? Because I think spirituality is not like, again, not sitting and doing meditation, not sitting and doing bhajans. These are all just probably means or examples of activities we can do, like sadhanas. But I don't think that is spirituality.
Okay.
For me, I don't know, right? I don't know. I'm just telling my opinion. I think whatever we do, if we do it with love and intention and think of Swami and give our best, I think that is also a form of spirituality, giving your best in every role, in everything you do, right? And following Swami's words, following Swami's messages, and remembering that he's constantly with you and guiding you through everything that we do in life. I think that is also spirituality, right? I think maybe we get a little confused between spiritual activities and spirituality, and we think that they are the same thing.
Okay.
So bhajans, meditation, other kind of sadhanas, even service and all, that is there. But that is not the beat and say, they end all again, that it's not just that. I think whatever we do, we can spiritualize it. That's what I'm trying to say. Whatever we do, we can spiritualize it.
Okay.
It's just how we do it. So how we choose to do it. I think. So if we do it that way, then there's no excuse of I don't have time for spirituality, right?
Yeah.
Because Swami is always around us. Swami, he says, I'm above you, beside you, around you, everywhere, So if he's always there, he's the ultimate form, of spiritual. I mean, he is that, right? He is Brahman. So then, if he's with you, you can practice spirituality at any time. I think this is the general concept of spirituality. I'm not talking about the concept of no time to come for center activities. I think that's a whole different discussion altogether. Yeah, for me, I'm just talking in terms of time for spirituality. I think anything can be made spiritual if we bring Swami into it.
Okay.
That's.
She said it
Yeah,
already.
well, also,
I can add.
another thing that comes to mind is like Swami always says, right? Work is worship. So, what do you think about that? Like how you said, right, Akka, earlier, how we see spirituality is what it is to us, right? So, if we say work is worship, so our currently the jobs that we're doing and all that. So, what do you think about the phrase "work is worship"?
For me, I feel I'm Swami's servant,
Mm.
right? So all the roles that Swami has given me, work, when you first thing you get a work, you get a job description. When you get a job description, then you know how to play your roles and responsibility well. So I'm Swami's servant. Work is worship. Work at home, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, as a daughter-in-law. What is that job description that I have? Right? Am I playing my roles and responsibility as how Swami would want his child to be? Because for me, spirituality is trying my level best to practice what Swami is trying to tell everybody. The spiritual guru, the God himself, has come down and told us so many things. Simple as start the day with love, fill the day with love, and end the day with love, right? Are we really putting it in practice?
Yeah.
Right? First, loving ourselves, like how Chandini said, right? Loving ourselves. Just with that word love, right? You can really make your whole day spiritual. Second, work will become so much of worship. Worship is what? What is worship? Oh no. Worship is putting a way of ritual into the way that you do something, right? Like you have a way that you do it, like a rhythm or a system, you know. So work is worship is you pray to the God above to make sure that everything is fine, right? So for me, I feel work is worship is very easy to be formulated if we continuously feel that everybody around us have been connected to us by Swami for us to learn and grow.
Yeah.
So today, if you're connected to the most silliest boss ever, the one who never probably understand your feelings, doesn't have a EQ, doesn't have a SQ or whatever, but it's Swami who's giving you this opportunity to learn what is patience and perseverance. We have read it in books, we have read it there, we have heard it here. Swami say, come on, you think exam is over after university? You have more exams.
Yes.
And then when I actually look back at my graduation, I said, oh, that was...
Yeah.
Every day I want to graduate, Swami, because every day I'm learning new theses, new vivas are going on. Every day we're meeting new group of people.
Yeah.
So that is the work, is worship. So if you worship whatever you do with good thoughts, with good feelings and good actions, then worry not. It's already spiritualized, right? So spirituality is individual definition. You may have it differently, I may have it differently, she may have it differently, the people who are listening to us may have it differently, right? But at the end of the day, are we practicing what Swami has come down to tell us? That is the ultimate spirituality. Putting the spirit into the rituals that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you summed it up very nicely, Ka. Akka, you have anything to add on?
No, I think it's the same. When it comes to work is worship, I think I said this earlier, just dedicate whatever we do to Swami, right? Because when we are giving something to Swami, we want to give our best. I think if I can give a very short personal example, when I first got into the job that I'm doing now, lecturing, I love teaching, right? But there is another aspect to my job, which I probably was not conscious. I didn't give it a good thought before I got into the job. It's actually research, right? I like to do research, but I don't like all the things that come along with it, like all the paperwork and all these protocol stuffs and all. I feel it takes a lot of my time. And so if I may be very honest, I kind of slacked a little bit in that area. And then I was thinking to myself, like, why am I being like this? I usually am not like this. I usually really give my best in whatever I'm doing. but I just didn't seem to have the interest. Then I challenged myself. I mean, sometimes this is where Swami has a very interesting way of, giving us messages, right? You might be listening to some video and then, this word comes up, work is worship, and then there's an explanation in there. And somewhere, I remember in one of the videos, I can't really remember the exact source, but it says there that imagine that whatever you do, you are doing it for Swami. And if you're doing it for Swami, you want to give your best, right? So then I questioned myself, like maybe I'm not looking at it in that perspective. For me, work was just like work. And especially the research part ended up being not work like a chore. It was more of a hassle, for me. So then I challenged myself. I said, no, make yourself think that you are doing this for Swami, right? And then if you're going to think of it that way, you surely wouldn't want to disappoint him, right? Because I mean, we don't have the real feeling of knowing what it is like to disappoint Swami. But if you listen to a lot, I love to listen to stories from Swami's physical students, right? The boys at Prashanthi Nilayam or other campuses. I just love to listen to those videos. And you can really feel, when they give all this experience sharing, they actually feel that disappointment when they've let Swami down. And you try to put yourself in that situation and then you feel like, maybe I'm also not doing my best. And then you try to give your best. So I think that's where work is worship helps you. It actually pushes you to do better in your work because you are doing it as an offering to Swami. So you take it on as a challenge for yourself to give your best.
I actually last time when I was back in school, I was also slacking off a bit doing exams and everything, and then Amma always told me, okay, imagine when you go into exam and Swami is your invigilator, how would you do the exam? I was like, Ma, Swami, my invigilator means I'll ask him for answer. Why don't you say I study so hard? And then, all jokes aside, but when we do everything that we do as offering to Swami, yes, we would definitely make sure that everything is perfect before.
At least on the effort side.
Yes, on the effort side, we give it our all already. There's nothing more we can provide.
Correct.
So then when we offer it to Swami, we will have full satisfaction, and Swami would also appreciate it for the amount, because he knows how much effort we have put in it as well, and he would not give us a task that we are not built for, right? So thank you.
Maybe just to also add, right? I mean, I've been working pretty long already, right? So what I've realized is that it's easy for us to practice worship at home because everybody is Swamily connected. Practice it at center, all right? Sometimes it may be also challenging. I'm not saying it's always a smooth sailing, right? With friends, okay. But at work, right? It was a bit difficult because everybody comes from different belief system. But end of the day, everybody wants to be happy. End of the day, every individual that I speak to wants to be happy. Either monetary stuff is making them feeling happy, a simple pat at the back, a simple recognition, something. And that's when I started really, understanding people even better. And I felt that the center gave me that privilege because we gave ourselves exposure to realize many different people from different age group in fact, right? You from a little kid to a 70-year-old person, give you so much of exposure so that when you learn to listen, then you'll find like, okay, let me try to give some solution to this person. And then you'll connect to Swami. Hey Swami, come on. And then I started really bringing Swami into my work. And these people didn't realize, like even before a meeting starts, I will say, okay, everybody, let's just take a minute, breather, because I know all of us ran from another meeting to another meeting. And let's take a breather before we start. And then 5 minutes, we'll just do something to make each other happy before we get into the serious business. Because Swami says, ideally everybody must be happy. So eventually you just, sort of just put Swami's teaching into that. And then you realize work becomes so easy. People will love you. When you're not around, they'll be like, where did you go? We want to talk to you. We are missing your presence. Then you realize, hey, you are doing the right job. And then when somebody say, hey, I missed you, Triylocanan. You were not at office. She didn't miss me. You miss the big guy.
Uh,
That feeling you will feel good. And Swami himself, when he's watching you, right? You'll feel, now you are the flower in my garden.
Yeah.
You're the star in the heaven because you're becoming pop star already at work.
yeah.
Like that.
True. Actually, the one when you said like everyone wants to be happy, right? I kind of realized that because so this was back in university when I used to. So what I mean, me as a person, what I tend to I get motivated, or means like I tend to feel happy when I make someone laugh or make someone smile. And when I make someone laugh, I try to go for a bigger laugh, and like so that's why like with my friends tell jokes, and even once I get close to lecturers, start joking around with them and all that, so make them smile and make them happy. But then but I didn't really realize that I just did it because I like to do it. I didn't really realize that it made an impact on others.
Your spontaneous love.
Yes, but but then until I did this, because when I wanted to apply for a job, I actually my last semester lecturers, I asked them for a recommendation letter. So this is when one of these lecturer, when she gave a recommendation letter, she did state my academic qualifications, everything, and then under that what she stated is working with Triylocanan is fun, as he has a very jovial character and doesn't fail to make you laugh at least once a day. So when I read that, I was like, wow, people actually do realize that I make them laugh. So that was nice. When I read that, I actually felt touched reading the recommendation letter. So it was like a recommendation to myself about myself. So yeah, that was nice. But true, at the end of the day, right, everyone wants to be happy. Yeah, so that was a really nice discussion that we had at the end. But okay, so now since we had a very good discussion already, let us take a trip down memory lane. So here I have photos photos of both of you. Not a few years, maybe a few decades back. Maybe you guys can, when you see the photo, just explain what is going on in the photo, and just a short story on what was happening there and how it made you feel. I think you will remember.
Okay.
Akka
will remember.
She will remember.
Akka might remember my photos.
Okay, so we start with Chandini Akka. Akka, this is your photo. I'm not sure which year it was taken in.
Oh my god, I know this. This is a choir practice.
Yeah, for Christmas, right?
Yeah. And I think we all got scolding from Naveen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And in the background there's Mohan and also.
Correct. There's Mohan Anna. There's my father-in-law. Suren Anna.
I never realized Anna had that kind of a hairstyle until
Mohan Anna.
Until Anna changed his hairstyle.
Akka, you can see Anna's hairstyle. Yeah, so this was from choir lah. Which year? Huh?
Not sure, Kari, what year.
The year there is definitely wrong. It's written 94. I was 3 years old.
Oh.
So can't be 94. Yeah.
I think this is when I broke my arms, I think.
Oh.
I mean, I had a hairline fracture. So that maybe 2005 or 4, somewhere there lah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I used to be very scared of Naveen, you know.
Yes,
I think we all used to be.
We all like.
He was not my Balvika's guru. If I would have answered him. Something wrong if he was my Balvika's guru.
Say, you know what? I used to see like another me of perfection walking around, another me being meticulous, but in a male version. So then I used to ask myself, oh, this is how people will feel about me, right? Maybe mine was the education, he was the spiritual and bhajans.
Yes. Yes, I also remember like when controlling the PA system for bhajans, it's like make mistake, gone.
Maybe when you come for bhajan practice, that sing 100 times and come.
Yeah,
make sure you have had enough practice.
Yeah.
Back in this picture also,
but
like,
some more questions.
no. Center looks a lot different as well, like how we went from a TV to a projector now. And then Akka, you were a singer, right, back then in the choir?
Yes.
But then after that you started conducting also the choir and writing songs, preparing the song list and all.
I never conducted a choir, I'll be very honest, but I've always only been a participant in choirs, only sing. But of course in bhajans, then of course like you know, coordinating bhajans, conducting bhajans, that was definitely there. But choir, I just will go listen what I'm supposed to sing, get scolded if I don't sing properly, and then practice and sing. That's it. Yeah.
I remember she used to play keyboard.
I used to play the keyboard. Yeah, and I think I have probably played even for the choir. Before, yeah.
Not probably, she has.
Okay, now for Anjulaka.
No, but you should have found a picture where Chandini was an angel for Christmas.
Oh yeah. Malawi Center, I think. I was the what Centerina?
Yes.
Yeah.
Christmas comes, they all will get very excited.
I see.
We came in the Becha, okay.
The one I don't remember.
The Santa Claus was in the, I think Becha lah, right? It's
Trishaw,
called
yeah.
Trishaw, yeah.
Okay.
Right. I want to say auto rickshaw, I don't know why.
Uncle Supaya decorates that.
Yeah, and then the Santa Claus, and then me and another person. Yeah, we came. It was quite fun.
Yes,
watching all.
Maybe we'll find a picture, Akka, for that. Akka, for you, this is you in a drama as Swami. Do you remember this one?
Yes, definitely. I was so scared to take part.
Yes, How old were you guys?
I think I was maybe 13 or 14. Uncle Sundram just randomly came. Then he said, I think you would do good in taking part in this role.
Okay.
Previously, I used to be the witch lah, or the villi lah, right? I know just before this drama, there was one drama that I acted with Uncle Subu and terrified Dasharath and Dishan like crazy. Okay? So I always thought, okay, I will only have this. I will always talk, and I told you right, fantasy man, right? I always say, Swami, I always will act all this naughty role, Swami. When will I act at least a good role? Then they gave me Ishwaramba. Then there was also a Shirdi drama. Then was like some lady, you know, very those kind of roles lah. Then after that, my mother said, you acted as Ishwaramba also, you're not happy. I said, no lah. Then my mother just casually asked me, so what, you want to be Baba? Then I said, why not? Nothing wrong to dream, what? Then when this was given to me, and you believe it not, that was the first time a child acted as a Baba in the center. There's no ropes available. You know, all kind of things lah. People have, how would this straight hair have curly hair? They were more about the
makeup.
Appearance. Then best is Uncle Sundram. He said, she's about 5 feet like Swami, and she will fit the role. She'll do it. Then, Uncle, you have the faith in me? He said, yeah. Then when I performed, right, I tell you that minute, right, I want to be in Prashanti. My yearnings for Swami was, even till today, I can tell you, this, I mean, you probably picked one of the best moment photos. Is the moment that I felt that Swami will never let me go. I mean, what can you ask for, lah? And you're acting as him. What would you even ask for, right? Yeah. And that's when, right, till today I will tell you, right, whatever comes by, whether it's a painful moment or a happy moment, it's like, it's part of the drama.
Yes, it's part
I have to do it. It's part of the drama.
We all have a role to play.
It's part of the drama and you have to do it.
Yeah. Correct. But Akka, now, so in this picture you were acting. And then after acting, now that you have gone to a director also, where you have directed dramas where I have acted in. So how was the change in perspective from being an actor to a director?
So if you ask me, since young, I like to act. I like to storytell. I like to, being an only child, right? Yeah. So you really have fantasy friends, you know. I will talk to myself, I will act, I'll put something, I'll pretend to be it, you know. Then one day I will feel like, okay, I want to train people to be that way. I want to do. One day I went and told my mother, I want to be a director, Lama. My mother looked at me and like, because she knows that, you know, if I wish for something, I will try to go and get it, you know. Then she said, no, director or no. You can teach children, you can be school teacher. So it's like directing. And then she almost brainwashed me, you know. Then I told Swami, no Swami, I want to do things like I can teach people to act and actually what inspired me, there was this person, her name is Ashwini.
Okay.
Her name Ashwini Gunasegaran. She came to me and she asked, Akka, can you train me for storytelling for school? I said, I was probably in school that same time. Train you, me. You're entrusting me to train you to win a storytelling competition.
Yeah.
And so she was telling me to, train her. She really entrusted me that I could do it. Then I said, okay, fine, I will try, and my perfection, meticulous, all that started coming out. And then we trained her, my mother and me, of course. And then she won state level also.
Oh,
so like,
that's nice.
Wow. I created an impact on this child. Boost ready. That means I can train lah. And then I used to really watch how Uncle Sundram used to direct. You open your mouth and watch like that. I used to be very passionate about it. My mother was scared that I'm going to go into some acting school or something like that because I used to really love acting, you see. Then as I grew older, of course, my priorities, you have to do your responsibilities, make your parents happy and so forth, right? Then came one day, one boy named Harvin, right? And he wrote a script and he, randomly, we used to go to work, we used to meet and then we used to go to work. And then he randomly came and said, Akka, it'd be nice if you could do Ramayana on the stage, huh? Then he read, very random. Then he said, okay, I have a script. Then we went to Auntie Sudha's house. We started to, I don't know whether he remembers the scene. So we sat, we were looking at the script. Then again, Akka thinking big. Hey, nice if we do it in a big time scale, huh? He was like, nice, we can do it in big time scale. Next question. What happens to the money?
Budget.
Right? And like I always say, my fantasy friend will come and help. The right time he will come if our thoughts are noble.
Correct.
And I can tell you till today, that time my little one was probably 2 years old or 1 year old, 2 years old. She just sat by herself and watched the Ramayana. Today she's like a fan club of the Ramayana.
Yeah.
She goes on watching. So it's actually how the direction came by is you need to love what you do.
Yeah.
Actually, all of us do some kind of direction, either at the kitchen or either at home, either in teaching or doing whatever. We are directing.
Yes.
Right? Are we directing Swami's teachings through that? Is what is important.
Yes, true girl.
Right? So, just practice that, and when you love it, it just comes out beautiful. Like how SAI 90 came out beautiful with Ramayana, and then after that with Spill. Right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually, dramas, right? Dramas actually really played a big role in my interest as well because I remember the first drama I acted was for Balvikas. It was, I can't remember what was my role, but I was a blind Swamiji that fell in a well. and then we had one more other person actually threw a rope and then like fished me out and all that. So we had that, and then also I acted as in group 4 as Shivan and all of this. And then but the most memorable one for me, the most memorable role I played was definitely Hanuman in Ramayana, because when I came to play Hanuman, it was a big gap after I have actually put on a character, and I actually didn't remember, because in the beginning also not like I really knew what I was doing also. I just did something, everybody said nice, okay. So then when it came to Ramayana, I really needed to know what I was doing, and I still remember I went for voice recording, and then after that I didn't know how to like make my voice sound like how it would sound if I were actually acting the role. It was very monotonous, and then after that I realized. Then after that we had to change the person for my role to use the voice. But then somehow during the acting and all, I managed. In the beginning, it was quite bad. I didn't know what I was doing, and then I like you, Akka, you helped me also because we had a scene together. You were
Yes.
Mother Sita and I was
The
Hanuman.
ring scene,
Yeah, the
right?
ring
Yes,
scene.
yeah.
That one. And then also Anjulaka also taught me for when Hanuman will jump across the ocean, right? So that was one of the hardest scene to get actually for me because it required like a lot of you had to go into the character, had to feel it. And then I remember Anjulaka, like there was one session where I was the only one in center, me, Anjulaka and Harun, and then we had to play the music in the background. Akka was like, feel it, Triylocanan, feel it, grow bigger. So, and then after that, when the actual scene came, and then when they were actually performing on stage, I was like, please, I want to grow bigger.
You really felt it.
I really felt it. It's like, okay, here, Anjulaka, bigger, I want bigger.
Okay, Laka, you can be a good director already.
Actually, more than directing, I would say is casting.
Casting.
Right? To get the right role.
Yeah.
You know, we used to be our journey back from Cyberjaya to Klang. We'll be talking about casting this person and casting that person. I don't know if Harvin is watching us or hearing us right now. We'll be like, you know, Akka, you're telling our trade secrets out. Right? So it was, I felt the casting was the way that brought Ramayana to where it is. People who thought, hey, I can't do it. A good example, your mom, right? She will come to me and ask, you really, sister, you think I can do Dasharatha role? Really?
Yeah.
You know, and the confidence that we need to give them, it's not about, you can do it lah, you can. It's like telling Swami, you have to go into them because they're going to give you the best birthday gift ever.
Yeah.
I cannot forget one of the moments where we were in practice, right? That was the day that night is Ramayana, morning is the practice. Harvin was always a calm character in practice. Akka is the one that is dancing the mridangams and That day I told Swami, surrender ready, effort done ready. After this is you and your children, your birthday gift. You decide how your birthday gift needs to be, okay?
Yeah.
Right? But the moment, how he said, bring the yuga here, the way he went and spoke through all of y'all. Till today, I can recollect the moment. We were both not even eating anything for the matter. We went home and probably had like some cheese sandwich. We felt like it was some amridam that we ate. And we ran the whole day with just that 2 pieces of cheese sandwich. That's all we had,
Yeah.
And the whole day ran by. And I can tell you, when we finished the Ramayana, the feel that you have, right? It's not about the direction. It's not about the casting. It's about seeing the smile in that people. Hey, I also could act lah. I also could do something and make others smile.
Yeah.
And when you feel that you were the instrument to do that, right? You were like, Swami, thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's how that it rolls in more and more for more drama. Just wish there was no COVID lah. We can have more dramas now.
Soon to come. We'll ask Harvin to work on the next script.
That's the
Hint,
thing.
Harvin, if you're watching.
Probably it's already have a script. Probably already has a script.
Maybe 2, we don't know.
Yeah.
Correct. Because he had long break, right? COVID, so yeah.
One for each.
But I would probably want to stress here, right, that the youths that we have in the center, right, they are a good bunch of techie boys, right? They study it, they try to put it into practice, they really think through it. So it's not only about us and the directions that we are doing, it's like feeling as a family. These kind of things, like it's like a package that you give Swami, that every box, every corner, every edge puts together, right? It's from the youths to the uncles, to the aunties, to the little kutties. Today's when the kutties, they watch, hey, I'm a teenager and this is how I was running around like a monkey.
Yeah.
Like a kutti monkey. And when Auntie Sudha watched this, hey, this is my little monkey and today she's in a group class. Like when she saw Shreya, she was so excited about it. So these kind of happiness actually is something that you cannot go and get it anywhere else. And the best place to ever get it is center.
Yeah.
And that's the energy reservoir that I go to personally to recharge myself.
Yeah, and also like how we said like the satisfaction and everything that we get after working so hard for all of this and all. It's like when we say like even the earlier we were discussing about work is worship, right? So and also like everything that we do as an offering to Swami, always with all our effort will always turn out to be good. So I think this is also examples of that. And also like in this also we can see like at the end how you saw happiness in everybody's faces, and then when we get happiness in return, so that is what happiness is, what all of us are going for at the end of the day, right? So I think like this whole discussion actually summed up our whole podcast and everything for today. And I would definitely like to thank the both of you for allocating your time to be here and join us for the first episode.
Thank you for thinking about us.
For the first episode of Chai with Sai. And so with that, we will bring this bring the pilot episode to an end. So with that, signing off, it's your host Triylocanan with our two beautiful guests, Sister Chandini and Sister Anjulah. So thank you and hope to see you all in the next episode with Chai with Sai.